Hey guys, today I want to talk about gold diggers. There's nothing I hate more than a good gold digger. When I was working back home a long time ago, I met this guy, and the guy was telling the story of this girl up in New Hampshire. And what she was doing was she was seeking out really wealthy people and marrying them. And he had met her somehow, and he was telling me the story about what she had did because she was actually like kind of proud of it and bragging about it. But what she had did was I remember him telling me that she had married some guy that had a lot of money, and he owned some apartment complexes that had probably like maybe 20 apartments in each one, and that was given to him and her as a wedding gift. And he also had some stores that he had. I guess they were like hardware stores or something like that, and he owned some other type of store. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, what happened was she was married to him for approximately 3 years. The guy didn't do a prenuptial. She walked off with half of everything. And she got some of the stores, she got one of the apartment complexes, and within a year she had met another guy, and it just so happened that the guy happened to be really wealthy also. And she got married. And as soon as she got married, she was bragging to her friends. She goes, "Oh, this one here is gonna be a big hit for me. I'm gonna walk out of this one really, really wealthy. I'll never have to work again." I don't know the specifics of the guy, but I do know that she walked off with millions after this guy, along with all the other stuff. Now, she didn't have millions from the first one, but she had a lot of money. She might have had a million. I'm not sure. But anyway, what happened was, she divorced this guy, and afterwards she was like starting to look for number three. And I think my friend or his friend came across her, and somebody warned him or his buddy or whatever about this girl, and said, "Stay away, run, this is the story." And he knew her somehow anyway from somewhere else. I'm not sure exactly where, but they had crossed paths several times and were friends before all this had happened. And they kind of separated their ways, but they came in contact with each other once in a while because they lived in the same general area. But anyway, what happened was she started searching, and she was kind of going around there trying to see who she could kind of get next. And in that neighborhood and in those towns, word travels fast about people, and she had gotten a reputation. So what she did was she got up and moved towards the sea coast in New Hampshire, and she ended up getting married to some guy down in Hampton Beach, the Hampton Beach area. The guy owned a hotel there. He owned several cottage rentals down there, and she started living with him at first, and eventually after, because the guy was very leery because he had heard the stories and stuff, and she said she would never sign a prenuptial, okay, which is red flag number one, okay. But eventually what happened was he ended up marrying her, and of course this one here was really, really quick. It was like within a year and a half or something like that. She left him and took off with that. Now, I'm not sure how she got away with all the stuff that she had and still had that afterwards. But what from somebody told me was that she had it all protected through an attorney, through trust and some other stuff, so that nobody could touch those other properties that she had and the other money that she had, which is pretty slick when you think about it. I'm not sure how she did it, but she managed to get away with half of this guy's property plus all her other stuff somehow. I'm not sure if she put it in somebody's name or what have you, but that is a true gold digger there. That's a true gold digger. That's a really, really atrocious gold digger. But anyway, I want to talk about this a little bit because I also heard this other story when I got over here. I actually got to meet the guy and help the guy and help him out. And one of our subscribers actually helped the guy live in her house for a while. It was a Filipina, an older Filipina that has helped us out on occasion. This gentleman went through, he was going through a breakup. Well, And what happened was he was living in his house which was under his wife's name because it's in the Philippines. They owned rice fields and a bunch of other stuff, I guess. And he had bought that with some money that he had saved up. And he didn't work much in his life, so he didn't really, the only money that he had was everything that come off the rice fields and everything. That was their money. And they owned a lot of rice paddies, a lot of fields that made a lot of money. And they grew a lot of stuff too. So anyway, this lady, I shouldn't even call her a lady. What she did was she went to the United States and then called the police because she had people in the police station, and they went to the house and told him to get out. They didn't want him there. And I guess she had told him to get out of the house, or it was going to be very difficult for him to live there. He felt threatened. He took off. He had called me. We helped him get housing. One of the subscribers he was a veteran. One of the subscribers offered to help him. He had no money, virtually no money at all. We were thinking about trying to get him a repatriation loan and get him into some sort of veterans housing or something back in the Boston area, because I know the way the system works and I know people there. And what happened was that we went to get the repatriation loan. We actually had put in for it. And I told him, I says, listen, while we're here, you're of age where you can get Social Security. And he goes, no, I don't think I have enough quarters, Steve. I didn't work long enough. And most of the time I worked under the table doing construction and things like that. I really don't think I have enough. So it's kind of futile. But he says, all right, well, let's go check anyway. I says, it can't hurt. We went over to the window and we found out he was going to get $500, 500 and something dollars. And we ended up getting him help that way. And then he ended up getting something else also from the VA, because it was obvious he had some issues. And he said it's been too long to put in for those issues, because he had respiratory issues from, I think it was jet fuel splashed on him or something like that. And he breathed it in, and it screwed up his lungs or whatever. And it took a long time to screw up his lungs, but he was having those issues now. So what happened was he ended up getting that also after he had put in for it. And I'm not sure what happened to him after that, but his wife was brutal. I think he went after some of the assets here by hiring an attorney with some of the back pay that he got or whatever. And he did, I heard rumors that he did pretty well. But these are the type of problems that people run into here. A lot of women in the Philippines are very much about the money, not all of them. There's a lot of women that are not, and when you find one that's not, it's a good thing, because some of them can be excellent wives here, but some of it is families over here. There's gold digging families where they'll try to, they want their daughter to get married to some guy that's very wealthy, that has a lot of money, so that they can survive. Well, we all know that. All the expats over here know that. Most of the expats back home that have not been here have heard the stories of vicious gold digger Filipinas. And I want to say clearly right here and now that there are more good Filipinas here than there are bad. These are very few and far between, the really hardcore gold diggers over here. Yeah, there's girls over here that look for money or look for phone cards and stuff like that. That's minor. And you're going to get that in any country where there's a lot of poverty and stuff like that. You're going to get that anywhere. You get it in the United States, for that matter. Hey, can you give me $400 to fix my car or something like that back in the United States? You hear that sometimes from some women back there. But over here, the majority of the women are pretty decent over here. There's certain places where they're attracted to. There's a lot of dating sites out there where a lot of scammers go on there and make a living off of people, that's willing to send them money for phone cards and stuff like that. If you find a girl that can't even afford a phone card, she's not even worth your time. Because if a girl works, she can afford a phone card. She can afford to talk on Messenger and places like that. If you're dealing with some woman that you have to send money to, the best advice I can give you is just, if she's asking you for money, don't go that direction. Find a girl that won't ask you for money. That's the best advice any expat can get, is go after the women that don't ask you for money. There are women out there. How many women are you going to have to go through before you get one? I don't know, because if you're going through these dating sites, the women are used to guys giving them money. For some reason, there's a lot of guys on there that are handing money to these women left and right. And then you got the guys that come over here and they marry women sight unseen, and they don't know the risks associated with that, because a lot of the women on some of these dating sites, don't work out. If you take them back to the States, I'll bet you it's higher than 50% that it's going to fail. I'll bet you it's closer to 70 or 80% that it's going to fail. Because over here, you're the exotic one. You're the good-looking guy, or even if you're not good-looking, you're a good-looking guy over here, because you're exotic, you're different. Now, when she goes back to the United States, she might be the exotic one in Kansas, and a lot of guys might hit on her, or wherever you go, Texas or what have you, Asian girls become, guys look at them like, oh, this girl's really good-looking, she's exotic, she's young, and she's willing to date older guys. Might even be some young guy that steals her away back in the States. That does not warrant calling the girl a gold digger. I think the girl's just looking at it like, oh, I could have did better. I made a mistake. We may, you never know. Guys are kind of the same way sometimes. They, hey, maybe I could have did better. But most of the time, most guys want to stick around and are looking for a true marriage to last the rest of their lives. And some of the women, they're looking for something different sometimes. They're looking for this here. They're looking for somebody to take care of their family. They're looking for a lot of things. Some of the women are looking for somebody to spend the rest of their lives with. But I see a lot of guys come over here and they talk to their women like they're children, like they have to teach them when they're on their turf in the Philippines. I see it all the time with new guys that I meet. They talk to their women like they're stupid. Filipinas are not stupid. They're just different. They come across as shy and naive sometimes. Some of them are not. But yet they get treated that way by some of the expats. I see it all the time with a lot of the new guys. It's like they're talking to a first grader. And sometimes I just stay quiet and shake my head and say, wow. A lot of guys that come in here, they try to, I don't know what they're doing. They're trying to show off that they're in charge to other expats, and instead they come across as looking stupid, and don't look at women over here as being naive, because they're not naive. A lot of these women, in a lot of ways, are more savvy than you are in a lot of different ways. Some of them are street savvy, some of them are not. But for the most part, I'll say this: Filipinas still make the best wives if you can find a good one. Yes, they make the best wives if you can find a good one. The problem is you might have to go through some girls before you find a good one. And don't be so picky that you say, well, I don't want this one. I don't want, because sometimes you're going to go over a decent girl because of one thing. And it might be a little tiny thing. I see some guys over here, they're overly picky because they figure out of all the girls, because they're all willing to date an expat, that they're going to find something better, and they keep going and going. Some of these guys will go through 20, 30 girls, even more. And after a while, it just, you start to look kind of stupid, because you're telling guys, hey, I'm looking for, a decent girl. I just haven't found her yet. And after 30 girls, maybe it's you, and look at yourself sometimes, look inward sometimes, and say, question yourself sometimes, because sometimes it is the guy. It is the guy. There's a lot of guys over here. I see, some really decent guys coming over here, and they find if they find a girl usually like that, they find a girl really, really quick, and they find a decent girl very, very quickly. And I see other guys come over here, and man, sometimes it's them, and sometimes I see guys and they're just looking in the wrong places or what have you. When you come over here, though, be careful. And be careful about the gold diggers, the ones that are asking you for money. They start hitting you up for money, run. You don't need that. Find a girl that works. A lot of guys don't like girls that work, and I'm not sure why, but I think that's the first mistake a lot of expats make over here, is trying to find a girl that doesn't work out in the provinces with a poor family that's looking for someone to come take care of that family. Now, if you're willing to do that, that's on you, but it's a good way to go broke too. And you're going to get a lot of bad advice. We need to start a sari, so we should build a house out back. The second you divorce that girl, or she divorces you, all that stuff goes to her and her family. Keep that in mind. If you got money to throw around like that, hey, that's on you. You can do it all you want over here, and there's plenty of takers. Trust me. But be careful, guys. God bless. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.